The human race has always been an industrious race. We're always working. Even on vacation, we find something to do. This industriousness eventually leads to the first industrial revolution, when the invention of new machinery improves productivity. However, we're not satisfied. We need better transportation. So we invent the automobile, and a bond is created. This bond is so strong that we even allow ourselves hours of leisure in our automobiles. But how do we fuel these cars? Oil. Imagine we're out of oil. How would we fuel our cars, our jets, our boats, how would we sustain our huge energy demand? As I said, we're industrious, so we're working it out. We harness the wind. At least we try. The wind harnesses us. We capture sunlight. Sunlight fuels our plants. We transform garbage, no shortage of that, into energy. Humanity has gone so far as to transform the useless into useful. What will the next step in evolution be? Culture. Now that we have all the media to survive leisurely on this bountiful planet, we must be able to sustain ourselves without depriving the earth of its beauty and its resources. We need a new form of governance, something we're not used to. Governance that is honest, principled, and firm. Rather than exploiters, we need selfless leaders, people who have at heart the interests of the planet and its inhabitants. We must educate the citizens of the future to care, to respect, and to protect the earth through all the means democracy has given us. And appreciate land, that immense and still vulnerable collection of minerals that allows plants to grow the fruits that we consume every day, the water that we drink, and the air that we breathe. We must teach our children to appreciate land as I learned from my grandfather a decade ago. We lived in a big house with a vast garden. In that garden, my grandfather and my great-aunt used to grow fruits and vegetables for their families. Grapes, green peas, and melons. I inherited that passion from my grandfather, and when I had the chance to work my own piece of land, I did so eagerly. My grandfather died 3 years ago. Now, every time I cultivate my land, I am reminded of all of my grandfather's teachings. However, after my grandfather's death, more bad news knocked on our door. Analysis showed that the water we drank when we lived in the big house was polluted by the neighboring gas station. I was exposed to this pollution only for 5 years, but my mother and sister much longer, and their health still suffers. Oil harms humanity. Greed harms humanity. Future generations must not suffer because of our faults, our greed. They will recover from the temptations of man-made idols and go back to farming to create the basis of a sustainable society. This would be the first step towards tradition and the creation of a new society, where people can live and not just survive. New society based on effective demand, where people will not strive for profit and starve for shortage. This vision of a new world is much more realistic than what you might think. This vision will become reality only if humans cooperate. Collaboration is at the basis of our existence. Men and women in the caves went out to hunt together so that they could bring home meat for the table. Nowadays, collaboration must occur between the different classes of society. Inquirers, investors, intellectuals, workers, writers. This is who we are. Way back in the early 1200s, a guy named Francis, it was from Assisi, defined a worker as someone who uses his hands, an artisan as one who uses his hands and his mind, and an artist as someone who uses his hands, his mind, and his art. The human being has gone so far as to become an artisan, uses mind and body in his work. The next step is to become artists, who merge their humanity to their industriousness. Grandfathers eventually disappear. Gardens don't have to. Thank you.